Hello guys, welcome back to HCCL. Today I am making 5 Tomy sets of top 5 Thomas episodes. We're starting off today with the easiest one, Thomas and the policeman. But before I introduce you to the set, let's do a flashback. So there's a quarry Thomas goes to, but the policeman says he doesn't have cow catchers and side plates, even though the driver said we've been there for many times. So the policeman writes regular lawbreaker on his notebook. So Tom is quickly notified and tells Toby's controller that to send him to Sodor. He does it really well and even makes the policeman mad. In the set, I've included Thomas the tank engine with 2 troublesome trucks with 2 expressions, Toby the tram engine, and Henrietta. Let's start off at the station, which could be used as the station Toby arrives at, which then goes to another station, but I quickly replaced it with a tunnel because I think 3 stations is way too much. Yeah. And then it just curves again and then into straight track and then curves back, which has like a manual switch which can switch lanes. But if you have Thomas on the inner loop, he will go in a zigzag formation, but in Tomy. Cross the Elsbridge station crossing and back down to the original path. Wow, there's no way they actually go in there besides just changing engine. A policeman figure and a signal and multiple trees, exactly 3 of them, are included to make this set feel more lively. This is the simplest set in this video, so there will be a lot more complicated ones.
The policeman pointed to Thomas. "Where's your cow catcher?" he asked. "But I don't catch cows, sir." "Don't be funny," snapped the policeman.
Now we're on to set number 2, which is the Henry and the Elephant custom Tomy set. Yeah, of course, before we show you the actual set, let's do a little bit of a flashback. So the Topham Circus arrived on Sodor, so the engines help out to carry all the loads. But after that, the 2 big engines felt really sad because James is the one who was chosen to carry the circus train. Wow. Henry was tasked to check out the tunnel because there was a blockage, but when men went into the tunnel, they were greeted by an elephant. And Henry was forced to go in, and yeah, the elephant looks very creepy in that shot. He goes in very, very slowly because he's scared of the tunnel. I don't understand. You're much bigger than him. As he went in, he was slowly pushed back. I don't know how you lose him, bro. It's an elephant. But then after that, the elephant sprays Henry when he releases steam. In this set, I've included Henry the green engine, James the red engine, 2 troublesome trucks, and 2 circus vans. Oh yeah, I forgot. A brake van as well. And a capsule playrail elephant figure. Also 3 trees and a signal were included. And a free capsule playrail figures are also included. So the Henry's tunnel is very famous here. So it can be used to recreate that scene that I just showed. And then after that, the inner loop takes you to the switch that either goes forward or onto the hill. Let's go to the hillside. So when an engine goes up, they just go through a long stretch of track, which runs above another, a double track. Then it just goes back down super fast, and arrives at a station. The outer loop leads to another double track area, which runs right under the bridge section. Which, yeah, I love the bridge section so much. Then there's a switch that leads to a shunting yard, which you'd be using the scenes, and it can also be used to carry engines and rolling stock. And then yeah, it just goes back into one track later and reconnects back and goes back to Henry's tunnel.
It began to push the train backwards. Out of the tunnel came Henry. Then the cars.
Our next set is the Old Iron set, which is one of my favorite episodes. And yes, before I show you the set, I have to give you a recap. So in this episode, James is mad because Edward is late and calls him Old Iron. But Edward chuckles from this. One day when James was sent to be shunting, he suddenly started off by himself because a kid's meddled with his footplate. All the signals had turned red, but it was no use because there was no driver stopping. James started having fun, but then realized there was no one to stop him. Edward and an inspector chased after him and managed to catch up with him. Then they used a piece of rope to couple up into James's buffers and managed to slow him down. And James thanks Edward and they both become great friends after. The end. In this one, I include James the red engine, Edward the blue engine, 2 red express coaches. Oh my god, put them on the rails. And 1 green express coach. Oh yeah, 2 capsule play rail figures as well. Plus I'll include the pilot as well as an engine inspector. So here we have a freeway crossway switch, which lets engines go 2 different directions automatically. Then after that, we have the station, which could be used in the ending scene where Edward goes along with James, but I don't want that, so I just have them push James. And then after that, it's just a long stretch of double track, which just is a bit boring, but could be used as the chase scene. After that, it just reconnects into one single line, and it passes through a tunnel. Yay, we love tunnels. And back to the railroad crossing. The shunting yard is not that interesting, with just like a few buffers and a coaling area. So yeah, the coaling area just gives you coal. James, get out, James, it's gonna blow. And then there's just 2 buffers to store engines and rolling stock. Not that interesting for this set, but I do like it more over the other 2 that we just covered. So this is a pretty good set. We'll see you in the next one.
Ready for shunting. James was impatient. Suddenly the signalman shouted. There was James puffing away down the line.
Alright, now we have one of my favorites, Down the Mine, because I have made the Series 1 episode and into a Tomy layout. Alright, so in this episode, Thomas teases Gordon about him going into a ditch and quickly scurries away to escape him. Yeah, go on, but Gordon's gonna get a shotgun anyway. After his journey, he puts his coaches away and goes to a mine. He disobeys a safety sign, the actually dangerous sign, and starts going, knocking his driver off and falling into a mine. Boom. After pleading to the Fat Controller to get him out, they use his last resort, Gordon, to pull him out, which was successful. The 2 form an alliance and never tease each other again. A good ending to Series 1, but we don't have Thomas and the Christmas party. In this I've included Thomas the tank engine, Gordon the big blue engine, Annie and Clarabelle, a troublesome truck, a mineral wagon. Wait, hold up. Oh, okay, way better now. And a brake van. So we start off at the station where Thomas teases Gordon, and then it combines into one track a few seconds later. And then there's a switch which goes either to a Thomas's branch line or the main line. This is where Thomas can drop off Annie and Clarabelle and then pass through a tunnel. But I prefer it done the opposite way. And then the other way is the mine, which is just in the Series 1 layout. You can make Thomas fall down. Yeah. Wait, why am I doing this second time? I shouldn't have done that. Whatever. So, there are sidings to place the 2 trucks at, and Gordon can come and rescue Thomas. Yay. And then the main line is just a bunch of double track and leads back all the way to the station, so we don't really need to zoom in on that. Yeah. overall, I think this is a pretty good Tomy set, and it just incorporates a lot of features from the actual episode. Alright, let's move into the best
He
one.
jerked his driver off the footplate and followed them into the siding. "Come back!" yelled his driver. "Fire and smoke," said Thomas. "I'm sunk."
Now, time for the episode you've always been waiting for. Percy Takes the Plunge. This is a season 2 episode, which is also one of my favorites for some reason. So in this story, Percy brags about his adventure in Percy's Palace, which actually impresses Bill and Ben. Henry just yells at them because he says rain is something to be feared of. And then Percy, and this scares Bill and Ben off. Percy is really cross, so teases Henry by saying the original book phrase. Once an engine, whatever. But this makes Henry really cross. After that, Thomas explains to him about the dangers of danger signs and how you should never pass them. But Percy is curious, so he did something very serious. And I mean very serious. Look at his eyes. He's very serious. He tells the trucks to bump him the second they reach the danger sign. So when they actually do arrive, they give him a fearful bash, I tell you. And they start pushing him forward. But this knocks his driver off the footplate. So Percy cannot stop. And he takes the plunge. Yes, he falls into the sea. Sir Topham has crossed, and Percy feels ashamed. At night, they use cranes to lift him back onto the rails on a flatbed. And next morning, Henry teases Percy about doing it next time because he knows Percy isn't afraid. But Percy's sure there isn't going to be a next time. I included shocked Percy in this set. Also Henry the Green Engine, a green troublesome truck, a gray troublesome truck, a Japanese style brake van, and one express coach. I also included half the breakdown train. So let's start off with the sheds area, which could be used obviously to store engines. I've mentioned this like 5 times at this point. Also, with like spare engines, rolling stock, you know what. There's an extra siding just for extra storage. Yeah, just pretty boring at this part. And then it just grooves back onto the main line. There's a double track area. The inner loop is very interesting, while the outer loop just takes a back seat and just has you run around the entire layout, which I could say is very boring. It adds back up a little bit later, and the inner loop is much more interesting as it allows Percy to go into the sea. That's the area. There's a stop rail just in case you don't want Percy to sink, or you can just have Percy die. Yeah, and he's gonna turn into Dirty Percy. I've included a capsule playroll as Sir Topham had, and a boat to talk to Percy, and a sailor to warn Percy. Yeah, that's all you could practically do with this area. There's a hill, which is a reason why the trucks push Percy. I just want them to have a bit more fun. There's a signal to also warn Percy. There's also a coal loader. Well, Percy has to get his trucks from somewhere, right? And yeah, this is the final set, which I think is the most intricate and interesting one. So, yeah, let's see the final moment he made in Tomy. And let's see how good this video is.
Go on, they yelled and bumped Percy's driver and fireman off the footplate. "Ow!" said Percy, sliding past the board. Percy was frantic. "That's enough!"
Overall, I think this is a good video, so if you guys want to see a part 2, tell me and subscribe.